Hi, lovely family. Welcome to your favorite cooking channel. Today, we're going to do something special. Ghana Jollof, you'll be up a Ghana Jollof. But I'm going to do Ghana Jollof with this in two different foods. And this is the part one, where we're going to do the beans Jollof. But then, I'm going to use the cooked beans version. So, for that one, it's also chicken based. So I used chicken, which is my main protein. Then I had some spice, mixed local spice for the chicken, some salt, and this is my beef jollof. So there's beef and there's gravy. The gravy was in the fridge, that's why it's cold like that. I got rice and I had my pre-cooked beans, which I usually keep in the freezer. Then my vegetables. For the vegetables, I used bell pepper, which I cut, carrots, beetroot, onions, and then for the side, I also had some sausage and fried and plantain, which I was going to fry and serve with it. So because I wanted the stock of the chicken to use, because I don't use seasoning cubes or bouillon cubes, I had to do some stock. So I used enough water around the chicken so I could get the chicken stock to use in the jollof recipe. Yes, if you don't want to use chicken, or if you don't want the chicken stock, you don't have to go with this. You can just go directly from the beef gravy part. So once this cooks, usually the chicken now and say, if you overly cook it, it will tear up. So within 10 minutes or even 7 minutes, the chicken should be well cooked. Then you can set it aside and you can fry it as well. So I just put my oil on fire. Once it begins to heat up, I put my chicken in. Then I sprinkle some flour in. The flour would go onto the chicken, and so it's not going to come out all soft like, sticky. And this is one way to also preserve your chicken for a longer while in there as well. If you don't want to coat it fully in flour, that is one trick to go about it, especially when you're doing like large cooking for chicken, for parties and all those things. That's one style to go about it. And then you fry it till it's golden brown or your preferred color, and then you take it off the oil. So this is like quick. So yes, once my chicken is done, I can put that aside. I'm going to use the stock. That was the main reason why I cooked the chicken first, to get the stock. So I added in my beef. The beef, you can use a normal beef, tolo beef, jawara, jaware, any beef you like, you can do. You can try not to also omit the cured beef or cured meat in there. It's up to you. But this also gives it some sort of wonderful taste. I was making this for someone special, and it had to feel special and be special. So yes, so don't worry. So once that is done, I just added in my beans to it as well, the cooked beans. Usually when I cook beans, I cook a large quantities to save time. I just put some in the freezer. So whenever I have to cook with something beansy, I just drop it in. Then I added in the vegetables as well, because I was cooking them from start. Yes, that's one way to also go about it. I'll show you another way where you cook the rice and everything before you add the beans and the jollof. But then for this particular video, we're going to look at how to cook with beans from the start. Yes, so I'm using the pre-cooked beans right now. Then I'm going to follow it with the cooked, the one you're cooking the beans from start together with the whole jollof rice recipe. Then we'll do something where we'll do the rice and everything. We'll finish before we add in the beans, which is cooked as well. So for the rice, I washed it 3 times to get rid of the excess starchy part around it, to get rid of the animals that were coming in there. So that's one thing. Sometimes you store your rice for too long and you have these issues in there, and you can't put it directly in your jollof when it's in that state. So I had to wash it 3 times so the water was very clear before I added it into my stock. So this is my base for my jollof, which I'm going to use in there. The beetroot and the carrots and things are going to give it more crunchiness, more taste and vibe as well. The beans is also in there to also fortify it. I also have the beef in to help with the aromatics and the taste, and I'm going to let it come to boil. Once it comes to boil, then I can then inculcate or add in the rice to it. So this is one trick to doing your beans jollof, which I'm sharing here. And once this is boiling up, I'm just going to make sure that I mix it up. I also cook this for a little while because the beef has a lot of fat, and you want it to be able to drain or mix well before you add the rice, else you finish and then the beef will still be very, very soggy in there. So you want to cook it for the beef you added, the cured meat, to be able to kind of release its oils before the rice goes in. Then you add in some salt. Mind you, if you're using a lot of beef, you have to reduce the salt. Yes, else you get very salty jollof rice. And then you mix everything all together. And once you're done, you can cover it up. But mind you, if you cover with a lid, the heat is going to run away and your jollof will not cook early and it will become hard. So I always put the napkin on, then I cover it. So my first stir I did after 10 minutes of cooking. Yes, and mind you, once you put the rice in and it starts to cook, your fire should move from high to medium. Yes, and after your first stir, your fire should move from medium to low. Yes, so by that time, the rice has already boiled up and is virtually forming. And so you need the low heat, the low fire, else your jollof base will burn. So I added an extra cloth because my napkin was a bit light. And as I was doing, I just fried the sausage and then the plantain to the color I liked, and then I placed that aside to serve with it as well. So the second stir you can do in the next 10 minutes after. Jollof, the standard time is like 20 minutes, 15-20 minutes. Worst case 30 minutes, it should be done. That is the reality about jollof. So once that is done, I just stir it all up, and then it was cooked. It was soft, it was nice, and so I didn't have to cover it up after this period. The beetroot also gives it a bit of extra color. The carrot also adds in some sort of crunchiness to it. The onion helps you with the aromatics and the taste, as well as the bell pepper. And so every vegetable here is there for a purpose. The beans also, because it's pre-cooked and it's soft, it's also very tasty in there. Then you can let it sit for like a minute or two. Put your napkin on to retain the heat. Put your fire off. Let it retain the heat just a little more, and then you take it off, and then you mix it up, and then you are virtually done. So at this point, your jollof is like ready to be served, ready to be enjoyed, ready to be eaten. And so this is one way to go about your beans jollof with your beef and your vegetables, everything in there inclusive. Now, if you're doing jollof for kids you're introducing them to vegetables, you can go about it this way because everything in here will be soft. So if you have an elderly parent who can't chew that much, or who is not a foodie person, this is also one way to go about it. It makes the eating very, very easy, and it makes it very soft and well to be enjoyed. So yes, this is one way to go about it.